Slamdown is sponsored by Body Slam and Jam and WWE Smack Talk. Welcome to a brand new episode of Slamdown Livestream. As people may not know, today's show has changed. It used to be called TNA Talk, but due to TNA dropping the TNA name and moving with Impact Wrestling, so I thought might as well change the show and call it Impact Talk. I've covered this before in a past show where TNA have seemed to change quite a few things. You know, I'm not too keen on the new logo with the owl on it. I don't think they should use Anthem should put their logo into the Impact logo. I just don't think it works. I would have rather seen them actually just change the colour of the logo and go back to the red scheme to sort of pull away from the bad years, which are cool. Because for me, when TNA went blue and the whole Hogan, it just went downhill. So I would have liked them to revert to go backwards and go back with the red colour when TNA was at its prime. So sort of go back to the red, maybe keep the same logo, just, you know, take the blue out and put the red in and grow from there. The only big worry for me with TNA at the minute is the X Division. You know, we've seen Mandrews, who's left TNA and now probably going to end up in the WWE. It's like there's not really many competitors left. All we've got is DJ Z, Trevor Lee, and Michelle Rocket, which I don't really count as an X Division guy. I think he's too big, too tall. I don't think he suits the division. But yeah, it's sort of the X Division is very lacking for me. Hopefully over time Anthem can improve this, bring in more new talent, and look at other ways to be different. Minus the X Division, actually, it's another point I wanted to bring up as well, is the lack of tag teams. To me, you've got the Hart Dynasty, Decay, Hardys, and Wolves, but that's it. Now, I know they've really sucked with sort of 4 teams, but I think the tag team division, in my opinion, should be 6 teams because then you've got more to play with and different things you can do. The Bromans, breaking them up, I'm very sceptical because there was a lot of potential they could have done with the Bromans, with Raquel, you know, because you always had that fun comedy sort of tag team. You know, we had it with Kazarian and Christopher Daniels. You know, we've always had that. And so to take the Bromans out, don't know if that's going to work because I know Robbie E can go as a singles competitor. He can pull it off. Jesse Goddard, nah, to me, he's just average. So I think having them two together work better than them two solo because we've seen what them two are like solo in the past and it's just never quite worked. Another thing I'm not keen on the what they've done to Aaron Rex and Rockstar Spud. Don't like it. I know they sort of tried jobbing Rockstar Spud, which I don't think was the best move. I think when they could have kept him as the Rockstar Spud, kept him as that Rockstar gimmick, but had him a bit more heelish, had him a bit like when he was on British Boot Camp, you know, going, I'm Rockstar Spud, I don't care. You know, we could have seen him getting pissed at the bar and, you know, really giving him more character to work with and sort of let him win a few more matches, you know, really push him with the X Division, but have him as that off-key character. I think that would have worked. I don't think having him introducing Aaron Rex wearing what I'm going to call a blue sailor suit, it don't work. It really doesn't work. It's a bit of an old school gimmick, and it's a bit, I don't know. For me, there's a disconnect when they do something like that. It's like, really? You know, is there any more holes I can poke in the product? No, that's about it. Right, that's my negatives. So now I'm going to flip this around to the positives. I know a lot of people have been saying with the name change, where it used to be Feast or Fired, and where you get title opportunities. And I know people have been moaning about that, about it being called Race for the Case. I think the name change was a good idea because they got rid of the Fired case a little while ago. So to have it as Feast or Fired when no one gets fired doesn't make much sense. They've sort of updated it as well and give it a little bit of a different edge. Instead of it just being a title opportunity, I like the way where it's numbers, where you've got the 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the person who gets the number 1 case is the first person to pick. Second person to pick for, you know, goes like that. And what they get to pick is any match, any stipulation. So, for example, let's go off the box because I don't want to talk about the show yet. So let's say if who can we pick? Let's say if Drew Galloway won a case. He's not in that match, so yeah. Let's say if Drew Galloway won the case, he got number 1. He could pick a world title match in a no DQ, or a world title match in a cage match. So the second person could pick anything except for a world title match, and they're not allowed to have the stipulation the first person's got. So with that dynamic, I quite like. It's a bit different, you know, and also it's giving more emphasis on the superstar because, you know, you could have one person not pick a title at all and want to have a match with their rival in a stipulation of their choice. So for me, that's a positive. So we're going to dig into the show, and we're going to dig in because the first match was the Race for the Case, where we had Broken Matt Hardy, Mahabali Shira, Eddie Kingston, Jesse Goddard, Mike Bennett, Tyrus, and Crazy Steve. I think there was a few more that was involved in that match. Oh, Eli Drake was in there. Okay, not all the names are down here. My bad, but yeah. Eli Drake, Trevor Lee was in there. Bram, Brother Nero. I've already said Broken Matt Hardy, but yeah. It was a good match. And also, the winners of this Race for the Case will have their challenges in 2 weeks' time on Open Fight Night, which is a good way to do it. So we had Eli Drake got a case, Trevor Lee got a case, Bram and Brother Nero all won briefcases. I will give the result of the briefcases a little bit later through the review. We saw Drew Galloway backstage talking about making it to the finals of Impact Grand Championship Tournament and being forced to drop out due to injury. He gets his match against Moose later in the show, so he was, you know, that saying he, because of the injury, he had to drop out, and We saw Bobby Lashley walked out and talk about beating EC3 last week to earn a title shot at the Impact Champion. Impact Champion Edward Edwards describes himself as a fighting champion, and Lashley says a fighting champion won't need help, and he challenges Edwards to a 30-minute Iron Man match, and Edwards accepts. It's to me, I'm getting bored of Lashley versus Eddie Edwards. I really hope this is the last, because it's starting to bore me. It seems like they're starting to do the WWE formula, which is repeat matches, and I hate it. But hopefully it's the last match between them two. They've already announced next week is going to be a specialist show. It's going to be Genesis. Even though it's not a pay-per-view, it's just going to be a special name of the show. So, backstage, we saw Maria leaves a voicemail for Brian Suckler. She then tells Brooke to stay out of her business. We saw Brooke taking on Deminaire Purrazzo. I can't really pronounce her name. Brooke's first match back at Impact. She got the victory. It was a good match. I quite like the other competitor, so I'm hopefully, in the future that person might get a contract, because they did look good in the ring and it could add more to the division. We saw backstage Brian Saxton arrived. Maria was upset he didn't call her back. Maria tells Sutton to stop training Ali. He refuses. She whispers something into Sutton's ear, and he agrees to stop training her. So I wonder what she's got over Brian Sutter. I'm happy he's out with the X Division and them doing something else with him. Race for the case was revealed. Tyrus did all the talking for Eli Drake. Eli Drake drew 4. Bram drew 2. Trevor Lee got 3. Brother Nero ended up with 1. So I'm wondering if they're going to put the world title on Jeff Hardy, or maybe they're doing this to sweeten Jeff Hardy to make them to sign a contract. Or, we'll have to wait and see. We had Aaron Rex and Rockstar Spud taking on Robbie E and Swoggle. People who haven't seen Impact, Swoggle used to be Hornswoggle in WWE. He's already got a victory over Rockstar Spud at no, it wasn't. It was first week of the new Impact. But yeah, it ended up with Aaron Rex and Rockstar Spud defeating Robbie and Swoggle. It was an alright match. It's nothing spectacular. So the main event, which was Drew Galloway taking on Moose for the Impact Grand Championship. Same again. It was judges' points and everything else. Drew Galloway got minus points for giving Moose a low blow, but Moose said he was ready to go on, and then hit him straight with a Claymore and got the pin victory, with now Drew Galloway becoming Impact Champion. As he became champion, he went round the ring and put the title in front of the judges' faces. So I don't know if they're going to plan to change something with that title or what's happening there, but there's a lot of openings for a lot of things. The Brian Sucks Ali thing still continues, so I'm looking forward to Genesis, but I'm just hoping that they do something about the X Division. I'm actually just going to flick over to Impact's main website to see if there's any news or anything really, because I'm going to start doing this after every show. After I've reviewed Impact Wrestling, I'll quickly flick over to the Impact site. One thing I have noticed recently, they've added Impact photos, but I still feel they need to have a roster and an events page where you can click on the roster and it shows you what talent who's with the company and who isn't. Because it would be better so we know who their current roster is and who's there, who's not there. Because at the minute, when someone leaves, we don't know. I didn't know Mandrews left until he appeared in the what do they call it? The UK Championship tournament show. I didn't know, so it's one of my downfalls with TNA at the minute, and it looks like their website has frozen my computer. that's another downfall to the new website as well. Every time I try and access it, it freezes my computer up. So I won't be able to have a look to see if there's any news on there, and it's completely crashed my Firefox. They really need to pull their finger out and work on that website. But I've covered the whole of Impact. I want to quickly announce that we will be doing a new show on Mondays. We'll be continue doing the Impact show, but then after the Impact show, we'll be doing 5-Star Wrestling. It's a new promotion. Well, it's not a new promotion, but it's a new promotion to TV. They've got a deal with Spike, so I don't know if they're on in Spike in America, but I know they're on in Spike UK TV. It's a promotion based in Dundee. Called 5-Star Wrestling. They've got Rey Mysterio on the card, Carlito, and a few others. Drew Galloway's there as well. So I don't know how that's going to work now they've got a TV deal. But it looks like Spike are trying to bring a wrestling promotion back. So, you know, like they used to have TNA, they're bringing this UK promotion in. Except for that, that's all for Impact Talk. We're on again tomorrow to 9 p.m. GMT, covering everything Raw, and then back on Wednesday, covering everything SmackDown. So, and also don't forget, we have got Royal Rumble coming, so we will be doing a show before the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, doing predictions, and a show on Monday after the Royal Rumble, where I will be, well, I won't say will be, but hopefully should be joined by Keegan as well, who is the co-host of Lucha Underground Talk. So, see you all again on tomorrow with Raw Talk. This has been Ashley Friend. See you later.